Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar titled How to Take Advantage of Weather to Make Sales. I am your speaker today. I'm Sakara, representing US PAC Midwest. This content is provided to you through the Community Navigator pilot program that is sponsored and powered by the SBA in collaboration with US PAC. So today, our webinar is going to dive into the effect that weather has on sales and how business owners can tackle these challenges and use the weather to their advantage to hopefully earn a profit. You can't control the weather, but you can maximize its effects to boost your business. So, does weather really affect business? The answer is yes. Actually, we probably should regard weather as kind of the first influencer. Weather conditions kind of dictate how consumers will buy, what they'll end up buying, the emotional state they're in, and how much they're willing to spend. Strategizing and planning for the right promotions at the right time in accordance with the weather could help to boost sales and profits. And also just to be more personable, since this is now kind of a new trend in marketing, customers want to feel like you know them. Talking about the weather is one of the easiest ways to connect to your customers. So, weather affects people's moods. This is probably something that you can easily feel if you're in one of the locations, areas in the States where you do get all four seasons, namely being in the Midwest in Chicago. The moment spring rolls around, it's like as if the city has come back to life. Exposure to sunlight has been proven to increase consumers' willingness to spend money. Those seasonal changes help shift the consumer mindset towards optimism, and that usually will lead to an increase in spending. Have you ever felt like this is just for yourself personally, but when winter comes around, don't we all want that nice new cozy sweater? When summer comes around, we are probably thinking about a new pair of sunglasses, what we're going to wear to the beach. So those seasonal shifts will kind of help you think about, and it helps consumers to think about, what could they possibly want for this new season. Current live weather will have the most immediate effect on consumers. That means happening in real time, what they're currently right now surrounded with. If you're surrounded with sunshine and sunlight, that will impact the buying pattern in a different way than if you were surrounded by snow in a gloomier, colder weather. So that weather affects that buying habit and that pattern. When seasonal changes impact buying behaviors, it's very apparent. The things that start getting marketed and the things that start selling will look very different than things that start selling and doing well in the market, as opposed to the spring. For example, when fall rolls around, consumers feel that little slight chill in the air, and then they're more likely to probably purchase something that'll make them feel warm and cozy, like a candle to light up at night because the sun is setting a little too early, or a hot drink to warm themselves up after, a couple minutes walk in the cold. Weather can also affect, online shopping versus shopping in person. So, for example, when it's really hot, people probably want to shop inside of an enclosed space in a mall with AC. Definitely just a store having AC makes a vast difference than kind of opening the windows or just leaving the door open or having the fan on. Um, on the other hand, when it's cold, wet, and gloomy, that makes people want to stay indoors. And then their spending switches to probably more online platforms or mobile so they can just scroll from their couch. So weather-based marketing strategies kind of hit home on three main points, and three kind of streams that you can try this strategy with. So targeting a weather signal, this is a little bit more subliminal and it's not very noticeable to the consumer. For instance, the moment the weather starts to turn warmer is when maybe you'll start seeing cold drink ads that dewy look to a Coca-Cola can. that might start working better in the market when it's about to turn spring, summer than it would in the winter. You can also contextualize. You can align the marketing message to the customer's context. So an example of that would kind of, just imagine like an ad that goes out maybe on Instagram or an email. Oh, it's cold outside today. Come in for a hot cocoa at Starbucks, at any other drink store, Starbucks, oh, Dunkin' Donuts. So that's contextualizing, using what is surrounding that customer and giving them a marketing message that aligns to what they're dealing with at the moment. There's also value adding, which is when you push a product, but providing the reason for it as well. So this one sounds almost like contextualizing, but the difference here is a little bit more nuanced. For instance, knowing ahead of time, maybe the weather ahead of time, you push a product that matches with that. So the example here we have like, oh, snowstorm will come in, gear up with these boots, and then flash, you have a photo of some snow boots, some nice Timberlands, and on the bottom you might have like a little weather forecast that shows snow over the next 3-4 days. So those are some ways you can use weather in your marketing. Another thing that's really important when we are thinking about the weather-based marketing is to know how to utilize timing. So there's a difference between when a product would sell, so that probably was more aligned to the timing of like a season or the weather, versus when you should be marketing for that. For an example, if the weather forecast, it's like Monday and it's telling you the second half of the week from Thursday to Saturday, it's going to rain, this is probably the time when people will start considering, do I have the right items to weather, what's coming next for the second half of the week. So you have potentially, rain gear, food and grocery deliveries, even indoor hobbies, they might sell better during this time period, especially in preparation for that weather. But to maximize the effect, you would want to promote a few days before the forecast, so that people aren't actually going to be buying, if it's raining now, I'm not going to run out to buy knitting materials from Michael's. I probably would have prepared for that and noticed, hey, it's going to rain in a couple of days. That's a perfect day to stay in and knit myself that new cup cozy that I've been wanting to do for the last 6 months. So that would be how you would utilize timing. Now, thinking about the things that we've covered, you want to think, you're probably at a point where you're thinking, well, how can I start to use marketing, and, how can this apply to me? Places to start would be to start thinking and considering who your audience is. Depending on where they live, they're gonna interpret the weather very differently. 50 degrees in Chicago is spring, flat out spring. This is when, everyone's looking to finally lighten up on those down or heavier jackets. They are looking to buy that fun cold iced Americano from their neighborhood coffee shop. They're walking on the streets. They're enjoying the new warmer breeze that's out there that's no longer a biting cold. They're enjoying those first peaks of spring with the flowers and the trees coming back to bloom. That 50 degree in Chicago is going to be very different than a 50 degrees in Miami. That to them probably registers as cold weather. They're getting ready to throw on those sweaters, to have those nice, sweet, warm candles that smell like cinnamon in their homes. So depending on where they live, think about your audience and how they'll react to the products that you're trying to promote to them. And then definitely the second thing you want to think about doing is collecting data. You can fine tune your promotions by looking at the trends in consumer purchases along with the weather. Don't rely only on assumptions. One assumption here is, you see in the photo here, we have ice cream. So one easy assumption and correlation we could make is the warmer the weather, the higher the sales in ice cream, right? Like, it's hot. People want to eat something nice and cold to cool down. There's actually a bit of a threshold here. If you dive into the data, you might discover that there's a certain temperature, when it gets too hot, that there's actually an opposite effect now. When it's too hot and I purchase ice cream, that ice cream is going to be melting super quickly. It's going to be messy and it won't be cold and enjoyable for long. Maybe when it hits about 90 or a little higher, that's when you start thinking, oh, should I even step out? I have popsicles inside of my fridge. So this is an idea to think about, to make sure you're collecting data to notice the trends and then following those trends to maximize the effect. So what can you do as, a business owner who's thinking, an entrepreneur who's thinking about, the products you have and, how you can actually use weather to your advantage in this case. So one idea here is thinking about seasonal products. Think about what would sell best and during what time. Plan ahead to market for that item. So an example of this is honestly one of my favorite salads from Panera. It is the poppy seed that features fresh strawberries, along with fresh blueberries with that poppy seed dressing that's super light and refreshing. This one rolls around whenever it's usually spring or summer. I think generally like mid to late spring is when all those berries are ripening and it is their prime time to shine. And that's when Panera brings this salad out. And it sells well here, as opposed to when I'm going to continue using Panera as an example, as opposed to the fall time, they'll start to shift away from that berry salad. And one of my most memorable items that I've eaten there is an ancient grain salad. And you have a heartier salad with quinoa, with darker greens like kale, and just like pomegranate and other flavors that remind you more of the fall. So seasonal products, you can think about highlighting certain products or items based on that season and climate. Also, simply the fact that something that is in season not only hits well with your customers, but hopefully is going to be more economical to buy in bulk. That is definitely one thing to consider about how to keep, your customers engaged with your business and appreciating the shifts in weather and the products that they get out of your business because of that. You can also try to maximize that effective weather on consumer behavior. So knowing and being able to foresee some of the shifts in behavior, if you can account for them, that means you're trying to cover all of the different pockets and dips that could happen in your revenue. So for instance, if I was a restaurant, I would want to consider having both an in-person and somehow online shopping options that might look like Uber Eats or any kind of delivery app, DoorDash, Grubhub, making sure that I am visible on those platforms for those rainy days. In person is wonderful. I have my storefront. It's open on a nice, beautiful, sunny day. I have people coming in, but on those days it's snowing, it's wet, it's dark, dreary. I might be looking at more delivery orders. So making sure that I'm visible. You can also consider, because of that, where your business is shifting, you can offer your promotions based on that. For instance, you can offer like an extra 10% off to order out that day, or to order through, your own delivery service. Also, if you do have your own delivery service, that means you don't use any third party, and you want to plan for like inclement weather, consider having the right equipment to keep food nice and hot or cool, depending on that item and the season. This actually just helps you kind of maintain your brand. It helps you kind of keeps you aligned with what the customer was expecting when they bought your product. And it helps just keep that image there. And it just helps you build your brand and your product. Once again, all of this content was brought to you through the Community Navigator Pilot Program, CNPP for short. What I represented US PAC, the Midwest chapter, presenting this content to you today. All of our content is powered, and this program is powered by the SBA. So what does this program do? At the core of it, the goal is to help uplift the small business community and to connect small businesses to the resources and assistance that they need to continue to develop and grow. So we offer, the services are free. We offer free business assistance and counseling. That means you have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask us. And the goal is that we are here to provide you with the guidance to help take you to the answers that you're looking for. Some of these things that you might be looking for help and support for could be financial planning, accounting, business financing, some business operations, marketing, which really aligns to the content that we provided today. There's also legal assistance and a free legal consultation and free technical assistance as well. If you were interested in today's topic and wanted to talk more, you are more than welcome to reach out to US Pac Midwest to me to kind of see how we can apply some of these concepts to your business. Here's my works cited list. And a huge thank you for joining us today. Once again, if you were interested in learning more about either the program and other services we had, or you just simply wanted to continue the fun conversation we had today to really discuss and think about and dive into the effects of weather on your business and how you can use that to your advantage, please contact me. My email is listed there on the screen. Once again, thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you guys. And don't forget, we do have monthly content like this, once again, provided through this CMPP. It is all free content every month. We do have in-person events as well as webinars just like these that you can listen on your own time. I hope that there was something here that inspired you today. Once again, if you're looking for anyone to speak to, I am here for you. Thank you so much again for joining